Hey y'all, it's Melissa and my dog here, Thor, and we're going to be teaching you about the basic commands of sit and stay and how much of an impact that can make on your life. So, did you know that a trained dog is 6 times less likely to be returned or taken by an animal shelter? Now, this seems like a really big number, not a number that I would have thought personally. We all kind of know that a trained dog is probably one that's not going to stay around in the home just because they're going to misbehave. They don't know the common rules of the house. They're not going to respect their human. They're going to think that they're the ones in charge of the house. So it's really important to teach dogs basic rules so that they can learn self-control and learn to respect the human who owns the house, who it's their house, so that the dog doesn't think it's his own home instead of mine. So why is this number so big of dogs that get returned? Now, this happens for so many reasons. Like I said, it's all because the dog is not trained. Now, Thor here is pretty well trained, not the best, but pretty well. He knows his basic commands, so he knows that respect. But a lot of people don't train their dogs to those commands, and this can be a really big problem. A lot of times it's because of neglect for the dog. People don't want to put that time and effort into it because it's not a quick process. It doesn't just happen. You have to be patient with the dog, and you have to slowly teach them. It's just like teaching a human. It takes time, and you have to do it with positive reinforcement instead of negative reinforcement so that you can really train that dog well. It also makes it difficult if you have a dog who, like Thor, if he was untrained right now, is a bit older. Thor's about 3.5, 4 years old, and if he hadn't been trained as a puppy, he would be pretty difficult to train right now, especially with his breeds. He can be pretty stubborn sometimes. But it just takes even more patience. It's very doable, but you have to be patient with the dog. So today I will show you easy ways to strengthen your bond and gain that respect from your dog by teaching them to sit and stay and explain how much of an impact this can make on your happiness along with the dog's happiness, because it affects both of you so much if the dog is well trained, even just with basic commands of sit and stay. So, as you can see, Thor's already sitting for me, but if he'll stand up, can you stand up? Come here. Good boy. He already sat for me, but it's super easy. As you can see, I'm pulling out little training treats out of my pocket. This is essential to training your dog. You don't want to get the big treats because that can be really bad for their stomachs, and you don't want to make them feel upset whenever you're training them. Whereas these little training treats, they're almost nothing. They're smaller than a dime, super tiny, super yummy to him, but it's super easy to train a dog with this. It's just positive reinforcement. Like I said earlier, you don't want to train him with negative reinforcement. He's not going to learn how to sit on the first go. If he is, he's a magical dog. My dog did not learn how to sit on that first go. He took plenty of time, let me tell you. But it's very, very important to have these little training treats. Positive reinforcement is the easiest way to train a dog. Once they're sitting, they're going to know that this treat means they did a good job, because to them, getting food is the best. Dogs love yummy food. So you can use a little training treat, or you can use little Cheerios. Cheerios work great too if you don't have training treats. So since he already is in a sitting position and probably won't get up for me, I'll just show you while he's sitting what you can do to train your dog to sit. So you'll get one of your little training treats, and you just, while they're standing, if they're sitting, great. But if they're standing, you put it to their nose, don't let them eat it, and then you'll back it up so that they're forced into a sitting position. Because dogs are on 4 legs, they're not just going to lift up their legs normally. They might try to, but they're not going to be able to stand up like that for very long, so it'll force them back into a sitting position. Once they're in the sitting position, you keep repeating the word sit and then give them their treat. This is positive reinforcing that word of sit into this position for the dog. It's a great and super easy way to train them. Also, to add to it, if you ever see your dog sitting like this, because it is naturally a comfortable position for the dog to be in, you'll just go over to him, walk over to him, and say, sit, good boy, and give him a treat. This just really enforces that word into what they're doing, because they know that you're giving them a treat, you're saying this word, and they're in that position. The next thing I'm going to show you is stay. So with stay, it can be very difficult to train them, especially with a dog like him. He's very protective of me and he likes to stay right by me. So stay took a long time with him, but a lot of patience, and it's paid off greatly. So with a dog, you'll get your training treat, have them in the sitting position or in a laying down position if he knows that, and then you'll have the treat in front of him. Put your hand out to stop him, to kind of block him a little bit, and say stay. Take a step back and stay. And then it's important also to have a release word for them so they're not staying in this position forever. So I'll say okay and give him the treat. So then you train him stay along with his release word to release him out of the stay, and then you're good. So as you slowly teach him this, you're going to slowly start taking more than one step back until you get all the way across the room, across the yard, however you're doing it. It takes a lot of patience, and don't negatively reinforce it. If he gets up, that's okay. Go back to where you started, bring him back to a sitting position, and start again. Super slowly, it's going to take a lot of time. And you don't want to do this all in one go because it's not going to work. It would take you hours and the dog would get really frustrated. So it's really important to do it little steps at a time. So like if I was just starting to train him and he knew his sit and I was teaching him stay, I would take one step back, and if he was doing good with that, I would do my second step back today. And then wait till tomorrow to do 3 steps, and then the next day to do 4, and so on, so that he doesn't get burnt out or stubborn or upset about it. So those are the easy ways to train your dog. But like I said before, it's super important to train your dog these basic manners. It teaches them self-control, especially with sit and stay. It teaches them to listen to you. It teaches them that you are the one in charge, not them. Male dogs especially, like Thor, who are bigger and very temperamental sometimes, want to be in charge. They're very dominant. So him being a male big dog always wants to be in charge of me, but that's not okay in my house. So I've trained him these basic commands so that he will respect me and allow me to be in charge. He will listen to me. He doesn't bother me while I'm eating, and he will stay whenever I'm feeding him or anything like that. This has strengthened our bond so much by allowing him to respect me and me to love him even more. By letting him just sit here and be nice and calm, and that he's not bothering me. I won't be getting annoyed with him at all. If he was moving all around and doing crazy stuff, he would be bothering me, and our relationship probably wouldn't be as good as it is right now. So I hope that you guys learned something from this, and I hope that you guys can take sitting and staying and teach it to your dogs and learn to love your dog as much as we love each other. So thank you.